Hot tub seatbelt?
Yeah, I think so. Last year they did a hot tub sauna. That doesn't look safe to me.
No, it doesn't.
They actually drained the tub a little bit when they were out to sea, and then they filled it up when they got to shore so they could show off that aspect. 2 engines, solar powered, runs all the electronics.
In the hot tub and the survival suit.
That saved Tom Hanks and Castaway. That same boat.
Yes, it did. All right, that's our time for now. You're off the next couple of days, Susan.
I am. I'll see you back here on Monday.
We'll see
Thank
you
you.
on Monday. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
Efforts for a missing child in the Wisconsin River continue near Wisconsin Dells. We'll have live coverage from the scene.
The AmFam Championships are this weekend at University Ridge. How traffic will be impacted by ongoing construction in the area.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3 Now. Right now, a part of I-94 in Racine County remains closed as crews continue to clean up after a fatal crash and highway explosion. It happened about 11 this morning. Racine County deputies say 2 people are dead, 2 others with serious injuries after a semi crashed and then exploded in Racine County. Deputies say a semi-tractor trailer was traveling south when the driver made a lane change and hit a construction barrier, overcorrected, and then hit a median wall. That median wall shoved into northbound lanes of traffic, which made 3 vehicles crash. And a northbound semi then went off the road in order to avoid crashing into the 3 vehicles and burst into flames. The drivers of both semis were killed in the crash. Deputies say 2 people who were in the vehicles have serious injuries. The Racine County Sheriff says the driver of that northbound semi saved many lives.
By avoiding a crash of 3 individuals and a semi-tractor trailer that's already involved in a crash and turning to avoid all of that, absolutely. I think this unfortunate deceased individual is a hero in and of itself by turning down and risking his own life to avoid crashing into innocent people.
Now, deputies say it will be about 3 or 3.5 hours still until the interstate reopens.
Dive teams are still looking for the child who went missing while swimming in the river in Wisconsin Dells yesterday.
On News 3's Jamie Perez joins us live with the conditions the dive team is dealing with while their search continues and what neighbors who live along the shoreline are saying. Jamie?
Well, they're actually still calling this a rescue mission and trying to find the child that they know went swimming in this river yesterday but never actually resurfaced. Now, earlier today, I spoke with the man who actually lives along this shoreline here as he talks about the conditions that the divers are dealing with, plus the fact that he's lived here for about 18 years. Listen as he describes just how powerful this river is.
I've been here about 18 years, right here. So I see it all, you know.
Robert Wilkerson can see this river from his porch. He says nearly every day for the past 18 years, he's seen too many dangerous things that led to too many close calls.
So it's not a safe river, you know, for not out there fooling around.
Robert was here when sheriffs and dive teams surrounded the area and started searching for the missing child Tuesday night.
If you're going down through that narrow down there by where they looking for this gentleman at now, it's nothing but swerves in there. You know, and this like sucks you under. You know, if you fall off a boat or anything in that area, pretty much you're gone unless you got on a life jacket.
The river is strong, and the conditions these divers are working in are dangerous. With a surface temperature of 56 degrees, the river moves at 17,000 cubic feet per second.
That river can fool you.
Dive teams can only search for about 30 minutes at a time before needing to fill up on air. And with just a couple feet of visibility, a mission to find a missing person can be tough.
We're still searching and optimistic we can find the child here for the family.
The Adams County Sheriff said that if this search should continue over the next few days, they may have to call in assistance from dive teams in other counties. Of course, this is a story that we will continue to follow.
Yeah, such a tragedy. We wish those first responders safety as well. Jamie Perez live tonight. Jamie, thank you.
A toddler was airlifted to the hospital following a farming accident in Grant County. First responders were called to a home on Union Road in Platteville around 7 last night. Deputies say James Zimmerman was working in the barn and turned to shut the conveyor off. As he did this, his 20-month-old son fell into the conveyor. The child suffered a serious injury to his right arm, right shoulder, both hands, and chest. Deputies say the incident was an accident.
Madison police say they have arrested the same man 3 times this month on suspicion of drunk driving, including twice within the past week. Officers arrested 26-year-old Davy Nadong, who is visiting from Atlanta. Early this morning, police say Nadong pulled up next to a squad car at the corner of North Butler Street and East Gilman asking for directions. An officer in the squad car recognized him from 2 previous OWI arrests and noticed he was again intoxicated. That's when he was arrested. Nadong was also arrested on Saturday and back on June 4th. Let's get a look at your first alert weather now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us on the weather patio. Gary?
Well, here in Madison and areas to the south, there are lots of clouds and temperatures were held down because of showers. To the north, though, some sunshine allowed our northern viewers to see much milder conditions. Let's start out by looking at visible cloud tracking. You can see the clouds tracking into southern Wisconsin, but on radar, the vast majority of the showers now are south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. There are a few showers, mainly just south of Dane County, but they tend to fizzle out as they move northward toward Madison. Temperatures right now range from the 60s, lower 60s down near the Illinois state line in Monroe to as warm as 81 in La Crosse. Here in Madison, we're in the mid-60s underneath that cloud cover. By tomorrow morning, we'll be in the mid-50s. Look for the threat for showers to end overnight. Then we could see a slight chance for a shower tomorrow afternoon. Otherwise, it'll be variably cloudy with a high of 74. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
The Kenosha County Sheriff's Department has released a picture of the suspect who shot and killed an off-duty Racine police officer Monday night. Officer John Hetland was killed when he attempted to stop an armed robbery at the bar. There is a $27,000 reward for information leading to the capture of the suspect. Governor Evers also issued an executive order for the U.S. flag and state flag to be flown at half-staff as a mark of respect for Officer Hetland.
4 Madison teens were arrested last night on suspicion of attempting to commit theft from a vehicle. Officials say a homeowner on East Lakeside Street saw a teenager behind the wheel of his parked car. There were 3 other teens leaning into the driver's side window. Police say the victim approached the suspect. The 3 girls said nothing, but the 16-year-old boy pulled out what appeared to be a box cutter and threatened to stab the victim. Neighbors who witnessed the confrontation called police. The 4 teens were later found walking on area railroad tracks and were taken to the juvenile reception center.
The last horse involved in Madison's original mounted patrol has passed away. He was 40 years old. The group Friends of Madison Mounted Horse Patrol says Max started serving the city alongside officer owner Meredith Thompson when he was 12 years old. The pair routinely rode around at UW football games, parades, and neighborhood festivals. Construction will be a factor yet again for those coming to the American Family Golf Championships this weekend.
The event is slated to bring in tens of thousands of people, but construction along County Roads M and PD could cause delays. That's where we find our Adam Duxter with what the city is doing to try to plan ahead for this weekend. Adam?
Well, Susan and Eric, this isn't the first time that the city of Madison and the AmFam Championship will have to plan around this construction in order to get nearly 25,000 fans in. And they do say they've got it down to a bit of a science. And that's why come this Friday, this construction will be put on pause just for the weekend. And the city says they do that in order to keep all of the workers safe. Now, the tournament's director says they've got a great relationship with the city, and the city says they're getting better and better at directing traffic for this event every year.
This is something that we're used to by now because we've been hosting it for the last few years. So the coordination is always there, but we've kind of gotten into a groove where we know who we need to connect with, we know what works, we know how to get people in and out safely and effectively.
Now, despite this, the city says if you are planning on commuting through County Highway PD or County Highway M this weekend, that it's probably best to find another route because there still will be some delays and some traffic backups because of all the fans in town for the AmFam Championship. But both sides say even though this isn't the first year they've been planning for this event around the construction, they're excited that it's going to be the last because this project is expected to finish on time come this November.
And they are not the only ones looking forward to that project ending. Adam Duxter on Madison's West Side. Adam, thank you.
Thank you, Adam. The new president of the UW System Board of Regents says he will continue to push for more state funding for the UW system.
Yeah, next week, the legislature will vote on a plan with $69 million less than what Governor Evers had proposed for universities. Rose Schmidt joins us now to explain how this will impact both students and staff. Rose?
Yeah, so President Drew Peterson says he believes the UW Board of Regents made a reasonable request to the Budget Committee, and they'll continue to make the case to state lawmakers over the next few weeks that UW schools should get more money. The Republican-controlled Joint Finance Committee approved a tuition freeze at all UW campuses over the next 2 years, but did not provide state money to fund that freeze like Governor Evers wanted. GOP leaders say Evers' budget spends too much. UW staff members would see a 2% pay increase each year in the plan the Budget Committee approved, but faculty say that by not funding that tuition freeze, universities would have to allocate about $16 million from other places to cover those staff salaries, meaning cuts will have to be made in other places, something Peterson doesn't want to see.
Board of Regents had previously supported a tuition freeze with a recognition that there'd be reinvestment for things like faculty salaries, like public safety.
Peterson says the Board of Regents was supportive of the budget the committee approved for state construction projects, which includes $1.1 billion for the UW system, including spending nearly $78 million to renovate Camp Randall and $48 million to renovate the Kohl's Center. Peterson also told me that a lot can happen in just a few weeks, and he'll continue to tell state lawmakers that the UW system is a good investment. The State Assembly will vote on that budget next Tuesday, followed by the State Senate later in the week.
A story we'll keep an eye on. Rose Schmidt reporting. Rose, thank you.
Thank you, Rose. The state Supreme Court is ready to hand down a ruling in a lawsuit challenging Republicans' lame duck laws. The laws limit Democratic Governor Tony Evers and Attorney General Josh Kaul's powers. The court plans to release its decision Friday morning. The ruling will settle a lawsuit brought by a group of liberal-leaning organizations that contends the legislature convened illegally when it passed the laws in December. A Dane County judge sided with the organizations in March and blocked the laws. A state appeals court has stayed his injunction, however.
Madison School and Community Recreation will be partnering with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources for Family Night at the lake. That is June 26th. The event encourages community members to experience what local lakes have to offer through pontoon boat rides and shore fishing lessons. Fishing poles will be available for kids to practice. Family Night at the lake will take place from 5 to 7:30 at the Tenney Pontoon Boat Pier on Sherman. 2 additional Family Night at the lake events are scheduled for Monday, July 15th and Monday, August 5th. More to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, 4 people have been charged following the 2014 crash of the Malaysian Airlines flight MH17, believed to have been shot down over Ukraine.
A human rights expert says there is credible evidence linking Saudi Arabia's crown prince to the death of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. We'll have the latest.
And on Wall Street, the Dow surges up another 38.5. The Nasdaq adds 33. The S&P 500 jumps 9, and we'll be right back. A United Nations report claims credible evidence linking Saudi Arabia's crown prince to the death of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi.
He visited the Saudi consulate in Istanbul last year to get a marriage license, but was never seen again. It's believed he was murdered and dismembered, and his body was never found. The journalist had been a prominent critic of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
What needs to be investigated is the extent to which the Crown Prince knew or should have known of what would have happened to Mr. Khashoggi.
The 101-page report calls on the UN to launch a criminal investigation into the 31-year-old prince and suggests that sanctions on his assets should be made abroad.
Dutch National Police Chief Wilbert Paulissen says 3 Russians and 1 Ukrainian have been charged with murder over the downing of flight MH17 back in July of 2014. The loss of 298 lives. He identified Russians Igor Girkin, Sergei Dubinsky, and Oleg Pulatov, along with Ukrainian Leonid Karchenko, as suspects in the downing of the aircraft, and announced that their trial would start in March. All passengers and crew on board the flight from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur were killed July 17, 2014, when a missile shattered the Boeing 777 midair.
One of President Trump's most trusted former aides is on Capitol Hill today, facing lawmakers' questions about special counsel Robert Mueller's report. Former White House Communications Director Hope Hicks is testifying behind closed doors. A Democratic aide tells CBS News that she will be asked about the circumstances around the firing of former FBI Director James Comey, as well as the 2016 Trump Tower meeting that Donald Trump Jr. had with a Russian national he hoped had dirt on Hillary Clinton.
The president officially kicked off his run for re-election last night. It has been less than 24 hours since his announcement, and he's already raised more than $24 million for that re-election bid. The head of the Republican Party says it is a sign of enthusiasm that is, quote, unmatched. But Senator Bernie Sanders, one of the president's 24 Democratic challengers, had a different reaction.
An hour-and-a-half speech of lies, distortions, and total absolute nonsense.
Our radical Democrat opponents are driven by hatred, prejudice, and rage. They want to destroy you, and they want to destroy our country as we know it.
President Trump's campaign managers predicting that the president will win even more electoral votes than in 2016. Quote, an electoral landslide, dismissing polling that shows the president trailing top Democrats.
At least 4 people face tickets for disorderly conduct and fighting in public after throwing punches at a Little League game just west of Denver, Colorado. A 13-year-old was the umpire when a 7-year-old batter came up to the plate. The Lakewood Police Department says a number of adults watching that game disagreed with a call that the young official made and started fighting around home plate.
This went beyond a simple shoving match. Fists were flying. As you can see, there's fights all over the field. There's several fights going on at the same time between men and women.
Authorities believe the call that started the argument with the parents was over a simple change in the batting order or another similar ruling.
Time to look at our first alert weather. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joining us with our forecast. Gary?
Well, it depends on where you are across our viewing area to see what kind of weather you had today. If you were from Madison to the south, you were socked underneath clouds and had some showers. The farther north you got from Madison, there was sunshine and temperatures were about 10 to 15 degrees warmer. La Crosse was in the 80s today. You can see a few showers still trying to drift from time to time across the Illinois state line, but by and large, most of the showers have been from Madison southward. Those will probably come to an end later on this evening. Farther out to the west, some showers starting to get going across parts of the eastern Dakotas with the next weather system, but we'll still have a full day of relatively quiet conditions tomorrow before we start to see the effects of that next weather system. That'll be more in the late Friday into Saturday and Sunday time frame. Already tomorrow, the severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk of severe thunderstorms toward Omaha, Nebraska, but on Friday, that severe weather risk expands northeastward and affects southwestern Wisconsin with a marginal risk of severe weather, slight risk with a higher threat back into Iowa and Minnesota, where there could be a couple of isolated tornadoes. Around here, if we see severe weather, it'll be Friday night with the possibility for some gusty winds and hail. Now, the 5-day precipitation totals For the most part, much of Wisconsin has seen less than a half inch or even a quarter of an inch of rain. A few spots up toward Eau Claire had around an inch, and then southwestern Wisconsin, some areas had around an inch of rain. But you can see farther to the southwest, a lot of 1 to 2 inch rainfall amounts over the last 5 days. And the computer model forecast taking us through the weekend and into Monday of next week, we'll see some off and on shower and thunderstorm chances, brings another inch to an inch and a half over much of southern Wisconsin. The European computer model, about the same with the heavier amounts to the south. Possibility for some isolated 4 and 5 inch rains. That has been pretty consistent from the European computer model. As a front step kind of stalls out to the south, that could bring the problem of more additional flooding rains over parts of the southern Midwest. Live view from the Quebe Radio Skycam right now in Platteville, just showing cloudy skies. The WISC Skycam also a pretty gray overcast, and it's been pretty solid all afternoon from Madison southward. And that has limited our high temperature to only 68 degrees after starting out at 62. So the clouds keep the temperatures up at night, but they keep them down during the day. We're at 66 now. Winds are out of the east at 7 miles per hour. Dew point temperature has dropped off into the upper 50s, so it's less humid than it was yesterday at this time. And here's that difference in temperatures. 60s from Madison southward. You go to the north, La Crosse is at 81. Temperatures mainly in the 70s through northern Wisconsin into parts of Minnesota. But on weather track, you can see the upper level winds are still from the south. So these showers to our south just kind of grazed far southern Wisconsin. They'll head off to the east. The next little batch of showers will fizzle out before it reaches us. And then we have a little bit of a break before a more organized storm system affects us for the weekend, but also brings us warmer conditions. This storm system down to the south, bringing more showers and thunderstorms down toward the Ohio River. But notice this break in the precipitation to the north and west. That's primarily what we'll see for tomorrow. So our forecast for tonight calls for mostly cloudy skies. Showers south of Madison will end this evening with a low of 55. Tomorrow, variably cloudy skies. High temperatures middle 70s, assuming we get some breaks in the clouds, and just a slight chance for an afternoon shower. On future track, you can see those showers moving away tonight. Low temperatures dropping into the middle 50s. Some breaks in the clouds tomorrow. High temperatures in the lower to middle 70s. Again, just a slight chance for a shower in the afternoon into tomorrow evening. Tomorrow night, we should clear out a little bit with lows in the mid 50s. And then Friday will be dry for much of the day with high temperatures in the middle 70s. Shower and thunderstorm chances could arrive late in the afternoon. The better chances will arrive on Friday night into Saturday. And as we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, you can see those temperatures around 80 for the weekend with shower and thunderstorm chances into Monday. Then for the rest of next week, the chances of rain go down, the temperatures go up into the middle 80s. As we take a look at first alert traffic, it has been a busy day on some of the area roads, but of course the big problem in southeastern Wisconsin, that's I-94 shut down because of that big traffic accident in Racine County. The Beltline right now seeing delays in the eastbound direction beginning around Monona Drive, heading back to west of Verona Road. Westbound delays start around Fish Hatchery and head back toward John Nolan Drive. It's about a 24-minute commute on the eastbound Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate, 16 minutes going back in the westbound direction. Heading southward from Madison on I-3990 from the Beltline to Janesville, almost a half hour, 18 minutes to Sauk City on US 12 and 18 minutes to Sun Prairie on US 151 and East Washington Avenue. That's your News 3 Now for alert traffic.
All right, thanks, Gary.
Ahead on News 3 Now at 5, a former teacher from Louisiana is shattering records on the track at 103. Her story after a short break. A 103-year-old woman is making history at the Senior Games in New Mexico.
Kenneth Craig shows us how she's not only winning gold, but the hearts of those who see her in action.
And they're off to the races at the National Senior Games in Albuquerque, New Mexico. At 103 years young, Julia Hurricane Hawkins has set a new record as the oldest woman to compete on an American track. She won gold in the 50-meter in her age group Monday.
I thought it'd be neat to run at 100 and do the 100-yard dash.
The next day, she ran the 100 in just over 46 seconds. And while she didn't break the record, she won her division and hearts everywhere.
Over your head.
The centenarian laced up her shoes to run just 2 years ago. She says she likes to train in her garden in Louisiana.
I have an acre of land and I have 50 kinds of trees and I'm working on them all the time.
Hawkins has plenty of support from family.
I call her a little old lady in tennis shoes.
The former teacher has been running circles around the competition for years. She says running is what keeps her mind and body sharp.
Every day when you're 103 is a new one.
Hawkins hopes to inspire others to be healthy and realize age is just a number. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
Hawkins became a world record holder for her age group in the 100 meters after finishing in just under 40 seconds 2 years ago. More than 13,000 athletes are participating in the Senior Games this year. There's your daily dose of inspiration.
There you go. Another check your forecast in just a moment. Stay with us.
Maybe some more rain out there tonight?
You know, just a few sprinkles right now south of Madison. So by and large, I think most of us will stay dry. You can see those showers at times, you know, trying to head up toward the Illinois state line, and then they kind of fizzle out as they head toward Madison. But look at the difference in temperatures. To the north, La Crosse is 81 right now. Temperatures are in the 70s through the northern part of our viewing area where they've had some sunshine. If you're socked underneath the clouds, 50s and 60s for the rest of southern Wisconsin. 74 for high tomorrow. Slight chance for an afternoon shower. Much of Friday will be dry with maybe a late afternoon shower or thunderstorm, but then chances for showers and thunderstorms Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Highs upper 70s around 80, and then after that, mid-80s for much of the rest of next week.
All right, we're back in 30 minutes with more updates for News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned for the CBS Evening News.